She slid the divorce papers across the kitchen table with a smug smile, like she was doing me a favor.
She slid the envelope across the kitchen table like she was doing me a favor. White paper, thick, official. Her smile was already waiting for my reaction. Smug and practiced, the kind people wear when they think they've timed everything perfectly. Divorce papers, she said lightly, crossing her arms. My lawyer says this is the cleanest way. You should sign quickly. Don't make it ugly. I looked at the envelope, then at her. She was calm. Almost excited, like this was a promotion, not the end of a marriage. I smiled. That stopped her. You're smiling? She asked. Yes, I said, picking up the envelope but not opening it. I was wondering when you'd do this. Her eyebrows tightened. You're in shock? It'll hit you later? No, I replied. I'm relieved. That word landed harder than shouting ever could. She laughed nervously. You think this is funny? I think it's honest, I said. For the first time in a long while. She scoffed and turned away, already done with the conversation. Read it when you're ready. My lawyer expects an answer by Friday. She left the room, heels clicking confidently down the hallway. Certain she'd just taken control of my life. I opened the envelope after she went upstairs. The terms were aggressive. Her name on the house, most of the savings, monthly support. A clean exit for her, a slow bleed for me. What she didn't know was that I'd stopped building my life around her expectations months ago, not out of spite, out of awareness. When she started coming home late, guarding her phone, treating me like an inconvenience instead of a partner, I didn't confront her. I observed, I learned, I adjusted. I moved accounts she never bothered to understand. Reorganized ownership structures she signed without reading because she trusted me to handle the boring stuff. I separated what was shared from what was mine legally, cleanly, quietly. I put the papers back in the envelope and left them on the table. That night she slept easily. I didn't, not because I was afraid, because I was finally free to think clearly. The next morning she made coffee like nothing had happened. Hummed to herself. Checked her phone, smiling at messages she didn't bother to hide anymore. So, she asked casually, have you accepted reality yet? I took a sip of my coffee. I called my lawyer. Her smile sharpened. Good, that'll save time. It will, I agreed. For both of us. She didn't hear the difference. The first meeting changed everything. Her confidence cracked the moment documents were placed on the table. The house wasn't fully marital property. The business she assumed was half hers existed under a separate entity she never paid attention to. The accounts she expected access to weren't joint anymore. Her lawyer kept flipping pages, slower each time. This doesn't match what we were told, he said carefully. I shrugged. You didn't ask? She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. You hid things from me? I protected myself, I replied. There's a difference. The smugness vanished, replaced by anger. You planned this, she snapped. No, I said calmly. I prepared for it. Negotiations stretched on. Each demand she made weakened her position. Each threat collapsed under documentation she never knew existed. The tone changed. No more smiles. She called me one night, voice shaking. You don't have to do this. I'm not doing anything, I said. I'm just not stopping you anymore. In the end, the settlement was fair. Not generous, not cruel, just accurate. She kept what she actually contributed. Nothing more. The day the judge finalized it, she avoided my eyes. The smug grin she'd worn that morning in the kitchen felt like it belonged to another lifetime. Outside the courthouse, she stopped me. I thought you needed me, she said quietly. I felt without me you'd fall apart. I smiled again. Not out of irony this time. I didn't fall apart, I said. I just stopped holding on to something that was already gone. She nodded slowly, tears threatening but never falling. And then she walked away. I went home to a quiet house that felt lighter than it ever had. I redecorated. Not to erase her, but to reclaim space. I slept better, worked better, breathed deeper. Months later, I heard she struggled. New relationships, financial stress. The confidence she wore like armor couldn't protect her once reality set in. I didn't feel satisfied. I felt done. Looking back, I realized something important. She handed me divorce papers with a smug grin because she thought endings were weapons. She didn't realize endings can also be exits. And sometimes the most powerful response isn't anger, revenge, or begging. It's a calm smile that says, I've already moved on. Thanks for watching.